many people really go into the core field, especially polymer science, which is a very niche field. So I'm really curious to know what was your motivation to get into this field.
So I took their advice and took that department. So after my undergrad, I had no intention of going into PhD. About 4 years there, I sort of hit a glass ceiling. So I was into textiles research, and there are various aspects of textiles that you can only grow at a certain place. So I used to ask my boss that what is it that you know that I don't know. One of them is fiber spinning, where polymer converts into fiber. So that area was something that was very interesting to me, and that's where I was actually working. So when I was looking at graduate schools, I looked at material science, and polymer science is a subset of material science, basically soft materials.
Hello, Gaurav. Thanks
Hello.
for coming in. I know you're a very busy person, but in spite of that, you made time for us to shoot this wonderful episode with you. So I like to let my audience know that in front of me is basically a polymer scientist who has done his PhD and also bachelor's from IIT. So without taking further ado, I just want to, in his own words, like to introduce himself to our audience.
Thank you, Ravi. This is, when you told me about Dosa Donut, it's a very interesting concept, and I'm glad you're doing this, highlighting stories, and thank you for thinking this story is worth highlighting. So my name is Gaurav. I'm a polymer scientist by training. I did my PhD from University of Akron, Ohio, and I've been working for the past 8 years in industrial research.
Okay, that's really good to know, Gaurav. So when I talk about PhD, right, a lot of people go into IT, or they usually, not PhD, but in general, the mainstream occupations that people go into is basically IT, or they choose professionals like, be a lawyer or go into medicine. But not many people really go into the core fields, especially polymer science, which is a very niche field. So I'm really curious to know what was your motivation to get into this field.
Yeah, so honestly, when I got a rank in IIT and went for the counseling, I didn't know that there was in my IIT Delhi, my engineering was textile technology. I didn't know what textile was, and the mentors around me, they told me that whatever department you're getting in IT, just take that. So I took their advice and took that department. I think through various projects and experiences during my undergrad, I got excited about a PhD, or actually got excited about the field. So after my undergrad, I had no intention of going into PhD.
Okay.
I actually joined an industrial research company where I was the only undergrad. Everybody around me was PhD MS, and I'd actually interned with them. And I really enjoyed what I was doing, solving problems, creating new materials. That's, I think, after about 4 years there, I sort of hit a glass ceiling.
Okay.
That you can only grow at a certain place. So I used to ask my boss that what is it that you know that I don't know. But thankfully he was he would calm me down and say PhD only a training. It's just that for good or for worse, the corporate structure is such they always look for qualification, not capability. So he told me that look for it if you want to go for training. So I actually I started looking for MS, and then I was told you're going for MS 2 years, stay for 2 more years and do a PhD. So I was slowly tricked into it.
Okay, good to know. So when you decided to go back to school after working in the corporate, I'm guessing that was in India, right?
Yes. So yeah, I was in India and I applied everywhere actually. I somehow, I think still, maybe not for long, US is still the place, at least 10 years ago, US was still the place to come for graduate education.
Okay.
Right now it is very shaky, but it was still the place to go. So I actually applied everywhere, and again, my mentors around in my company, they told me So I was into textiles research, and there are various aspects of textiles. One of them is fiber spinning, where polymer converts into fiber. So that area was something that was very interesting to me, and that's where I was actually working. So when I was looking at graduate schools, I looked at material science, and polymer science is a subset of material science, basically soft materials. So the mentors around me actually told me that this program is very well renowned. There are lots of industry colleagues who are from the college. So, and one of my seniors was actually also there.
Okay.
So I just called him up and asked, how is the program, how it is, and I was basically guided through.
Okay, interesting. So, when you were working in India, did you have any insights about how the polymer industry or material science industry generally look like in India?
So I was into textile research uh, and working for, so part of the corporate R&D, I was working for Aditya Birla Science and Technology Company. So there were different materials. There was a group working on textile, there was a group working on metals, Hindalco, there were other groups working on carbon black, etc. So I had a good exposure there of what are the other basically opportunities, paints, etc. But I think I felt that going broader a little bit would help me. And whether I choose to stay in the US or come back to India, there would be opportunities.
Okay, okay, interesting. Good to know. So why didn't you choose back IIT? Like, why did you go back to IIT instead? I am pretty sure there are material science programs in masters and as well as PhD programs in IIT as well. But instead, you choose this. I understand you have laid out some reasons for that, but from opportunity and quality standpoint, is there a lacking issue when it comes to Indian universities compared to US in general?
Well, I don't know now, but at that time, again, what my mentors told me was why US was still the place to go. There were people doing research which who were at the pinnacle of their field. Like even in material science, there are various different areas. Interfacial chemistry, organic chemistry, inorganic chemistry, etc. And in these also there are different areas. In US, there are people who are at the pinnacle of their field,
Okay.
and the exposure, that's what I felt. Like during my graduate school days, we would routinely get professors who from prestigious institutions like Harvard, MIT, Stanford, who would come there and basically educate us for the last 5 or 10 years, whatever they feel they have been working on. They would just pour out that, and those interactions were very enriching,
Yeah.
very inspiring.
Yeah.
I think that uh, is starting to happen in India. There are a lot of people who are going back and getting that expertise and that infrastructure also. Uh, I think in my case, I just chose to pursue it in the US.
Okay. That's really interesting. Good to know. So that begs the question that did you actually get to choose which kind of lab that you wanted to work with or which professor that you wanted to work under for your research?
Yep, yep. So this was one of the unique programs. Maybe there are a few programs like this. That department gives you the admission, and then you choose the lab you want to work with. When I joined, it was odd that I was also interviewing the professors.
Okay.
That whom I and the advices that I received was that okay, technical area is important, but the chemistry with the professor is also important.
Yeah.
So I was focusing on both, and somehow I got introduced to this new concept which I had not heard before coming to graduate school, about bio-inspired research, biomimicry. And the concept was very simple, that for whatever you want to do, whatever problem you want to solve, or system that you want to create, there is already a system or an animal or a naturally occurring phenomena in animate or inanimate in nature that is already doing the same thing.
Oh,
So nature has had millions of years to perfect itself.
yeah,
Why not just learn from nature?
yeah, through evolution.
Yes. Learn from it, learn those fundamental principles, and you may create the same thing, you may create something else.
Yeah.
So once I heard that, rather than talking to various professors in the polymer science department, I was actually visiting biology department and talking to various professors there. Okay, which natural system to work on?
Yeah, that is interesting to know because a lot of PhDs that I talk to, I don't think the researchers actually stick to just one single field. Most of the times it is multidisciplinary and multifunctional basically.
Yep.
That is really interesting to know. So my next question is basically, so you chose your topic because you were motivated and inspired by it. Was there another things in that criteria like, were there more publications from that particular lab, or is that something that you felt with the professor that okay, I can sustain this person, I can tolerate this person for the next 5 years, or did you feel more affinity towards the existing people who are working in that lab? Did you consider all these things into account, or is it purely interest towards the subject?
No, actually, multiple things affect. Uh, the colleagues that you work with, who all are joining the lab, you get feedback from them also. How does it working with the faculty? What opportunities do you get? So I did get all those inputs. The paper publishing you can't really predict, at least in from whatever I could see. That was not my motivation. I think the way I approached it was, if I am really, if I really want to know the answer, really work on my questions, then maybe the people around will also want to know. That's how I can publish.
Okay.
So
That is how you get citations as well, right? Yeah. So
well, citation may happen, may not happen.
may not
but
happen. Okay. So generally there are people who do MS and then as a natural progression they want to do PhD. That's how they continue it. And I've also seen people who basically do an integrated program where they exactly know that after 3 or 4 years I'll be doing my PhD on this particular topic, and as a part of it I'll be doing my master's, but that is not the end. So how did you go about it? Did you decide that you're going to do PhD in one single stretch, or you wanted to create a pivot point after master's there?
Yeah. So the program that I had joined, that was directly PhD.
Okay.
I think MS was, if things don't work out, then MS was an option. But initially, I didn't enroll into MS. I know many people, depends on the program. First, they give you admission into MS and then you transition to PhD, or you can directly enroll into graduate school.
Okay. Tell me some interesting things that you may have done day to day during your PhD research.
Day to day, well, I got a chance to work with live spiders. I was trained by some of the arachnology experts to go into the field, identify the web, and collect the web from the field directly. So that was the field work was a lot of fun. In the lab, I got a chance to play with the very state-of-the-art instruments. So doing things that or asking questions, taking measurements that have never been taken before. So that was also very exciting.
Yeah, that's just pretty interesting. But it also begs this question that, okay, some of these questions are really hypothetical and sort of interesting and fascinating to work on from individual level. But when it comes to the people who actually fund you, they will also look at like what is the real practical and commercial value of the things that you're researching, right? So how do you make sure, or your professor or your lab make sure that whatever you are studying is actually relevant at some level, that you can turn that research into a commercial activity in the future?
So not all research is motivated that way.
Okay.
The idea of doing basic fundamental research is just curiosity.
Okay.
And the fruits that we are, having a cell phone, having all these, gadgets around, nobody thought that 100, 200 years ago that you can pull out a device from your pocket and talk to somebody, across the planet. Nobody could have thought So I think that's the value of fundamental research, and organizations like National Science Foundation, the US, they fund these fundamental topics. And there is a whole they do have some criteria. They do give out problems that okay, they request grants in certain area, and it's how you match your topic of area to the problem to solve.
I see. So you basically figure out what your competence and your lab's competence is?
Well, that's a question for professors.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So they'll basically identify their competency, and then is there a list from which that they can choose from based on the funded projects coming from the government? Is that how it
There are
works?
different call for proposals, different focus areas, and not just government, even like Bill Gates Foundation, now even other, Chen Zuckerberg Foundation, they also fund proposals in a very generic area.
Okay. And is it the professor's job basically to convince them by writing a proposal to raise these funds and get it going? Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. So I'm guessing some share of that money basically goes to the graduate students for the research, right? That is how you're paid.
Yes, I think they are very creative in how the money is being, where the money comes from. I was very fortunate to work with a faculty member who basically encouraged me to work on my curiosity and not worry about where the grant is coming from.
Interesting.
He would manage, and his fundamental was very clear that if you do good work, we will get the next grant, and that's how it happened. I was funded because of the work done with my the lab members before me, and the lab members after me got funded because of the work, the grant that based on my work was able to generate.
So Gaurav, what was the topic of your dissertation basically?
Yeah, so I was asking a question that all the synthetic adhesives that we have, especially Band-Aid, the adhesives that put on your skin, like Band-Aid or something outside the building, if we want to walk into shower or a highly humid environment, it comes off. However, there are spiders which are their habitat is pretty humid. So, and they catch the prey where the prey has to stick to the web, and then they have the time to go and catch the prey. So, it's a sticky web. How does their adhesion, especially the spiders that are in humid environment, how does their adhesion work in that high humidity environment? And also, in a very dry environment where sun is out, how does their adhesion work? So we were basically learning from spider glue on how to make Band-Aids that are sticky.
Okay. Yeah. So any interesting findings that you figured out in your research?
Yes. So what we found is there are 45,000 species of spiders in each different habitat. We actually chose 5 species of spider who live in from very dry habitat to very humid habitat. And what we found is not only was their adhesion optimized, their adhesion was maximum in their humidity that they live in, but also their composition was also tuned to basically use the water based on their habitat.
Okay.
And it was very simple molecules that they have, very safe, but based on this simple chemistry, how they tune the glue properties so that the stickiness happens, maximum stickiness happens in the environment that they're supposed to live in, was just fascinating.
Okay. So I understand that you basically studied the mechanism through which spiders are able to do all this. Is there a way to practically recreate any of these in pretty much all not all, but like the bandage based applications and convert that into a business or a startup model?
We tried that.
Okay.
So there are various programs. One of them was National Science Foundation's ICOPS program, where they would ask the, you know, basically a graduate student working in the lab to step out and basically go and interview a bunch of people to find out what problem can they solve with the technology or the finding that they found.
Interesting.
So what we decided was, rather than going after adhesives, because it was, we were basically developing these formulations with which were varying level of water moisture absorption. So we went after the flower storage market. So flowers, when they are transported, if they lose moisture, they're usually transported in cold storage. If they lose moisture, they will whittle away.
Yeah.
So we were developing these packagings
Okay.
that can increase the life of your produce. Almost, I think, at least 2x.
Okay.
And while I was doing that, I got a chance to actually, one summer I spent outside working, taking almost 250 interviews, and we found this problem. We actually went and worked with a florist to try out the solutions. And incidentally, while we were working on it, parallelly there was another startup who was doing very similar things.
Wow.
They came at a solution from a different angle. So I think that was interesting to see.
Okay. So were there any patents filed or on that?
2 patents.
Oh, pretty interesting. So this was basically a group work, right? Or individuals?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, it was, well, I think, pretty good group.
Okay.
So
So today, did that startup flourish and scale up to any extent, or basically that idea is shelved, or basically waiting for the right time to come up?
no, actually, I haven't had a chance to follow up, honestly. But from the when I joined industry, and as was actually working with a group that was doing adhesive research, a version of that was has been used commercially.
Okay.
There are now adhesives available that go on the skin, or they actually go inside the body also,
Interesting.
that are using this this concept.
Okay. Interesting. Now shifting gears a bit. Okay. I like to know from you, and I want you to explain our audience who probably are not much into polymer science. If you have to describe polymer science in a very simple term or simple sentences, what would you say about it?
Well, polymers are all around us. The clothes we wear, to wood, to carpet, uh, even the your car has a lot of polymers in it. So these are basically long chain molecules. Even our DNA is a polymer.
Interesting.
Not everything is a polymer. Water is not a polymer.
Yeah.
But there are many things in nature that are these long chain molecules, and because there are long chain molecules, they kind of get properties that are between solid and liquid. And sometimes if you change certain things, the properties can change.
Okay.
So I think that would be my
Explanation of polymer science.
short overview of
Yeah,
polymers.
yeah. So usually when people, like regular people, when they discuss about plastics, there's usually a negative connotation around it, right? There are two important topics that people talk about. One is about the recyclability of plastics, because they fear that the plastics are not completely biodegradable. As a result, they're accumulating a lot, either ending up into landfills or into oceans. And the second aspect that people worry about is about the toxicity of interfacing with plastics on day-to-day basis. As you just explained, we are totally surrounded by plastics in general. So as a polymer scientist, how do you see this problem?
Yeah, so plastics is it's a pretty fantastic invention because you can melt and reprocess the plastics thousands of times without it losing much property. However, I think since the past 50-60 years, when we developed this plastics, our thinking was very linear, that we will make the material, we will use the material, and end of life it just went into the ground, essentially. And because of this linear economy, now we have this civic issue of plastic pollution. So I think plastic itself is very valuable. I'll give you, this is the best example that I usually share, that you don't want to go into a hospital which doesn't use single-use plastic.
Yeah.
For safety, for your safety, your family's safety, you want to go into an hospital that is safe, doesn't infect. However, if we irresponsibly use this single-use plastic for things that we don't need, being a throwaway kind of a lifestyle, that is when the issue happens. And rightly so. 2017 onwards, really, when this whole focus was ban single-use plastics. I'm glad this issue was taken up by the UN, and a lot of awareness and changes have happened after that. You'll see most of the restaurants that you now go to, they will have a bio-based clamshell. Not you will not see much of a polystyrene clamshell. Even in the US, there are, I think the last time I checked, there are more than 10 states where this polystyrene foam is banned.
Okay.
So because of these bans, it's happened around the world.
Okay.
That now these new solutions are coming up, which is, I think, the right thing to do. And I think in some way everybody is sort of responsible. It's not like people who invented plastic did not think about what will happen in the end of life. They knew it. It was just that public wasn't aware, or not much action was done.
Okay.
To make sure that there is some circularity.
Okay.
In our resources.
Okay. Now coming to circularity issue, right? Like about recyclability. If you talk about the efficiency of recyclability of plastics, right? So let's say you start off with a common water bottle. So you have this water bottle which probably is made of PET. Then you have this cap made of polypropylene, and then you have a wrapper around it, which I'm guessing different grade of plastic. So if you have to recycle this entire water bottle after using it, can you actually recreate another plastic bottle of same quality after recycling it, or do you think the efficiency or the quality will go down in the second cycle?
I think that's what is happening right now. They are able to recycle the bottle and basically make another bottle. And a bottle is one of the most I think recycled materials. There are different ways of recycling. I think what you are probably thinking about is just mechanical recycling. You separate the stuff, you melt it, and reprocess it. There, it's difficult to make the same bottle again, but there are also chemical recycling where the polymer will actually be broken down into monomers and then recombined again.
Okay.
That's when you can actually create basically as good as virgin material.
Interesting. It's good to know. Like, so this basically begs the question, like, if I have to contribute as a common person towards this circularity, right, or improving this recyclability function, so what should me and typically people like me should be doing at household levels to be able to be contribute much in this direction?
So a couple of things that you can do. First of all, home composting. I was surprised that the amount of food waste that typical household will generate. And after I started doing home composting at home, not only I was getting this very rich, basically black gold kind of compost, but also the amount of trash that I was generating came down more than 50%. Pretty significant down. There is curb recycling. I don't know if it gets recycled or not.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
But at least we do our part and segregate and put it in the recycling. I think especially after coming to US, I started realizing the amount of trash that I was generating, and I actually the localities that I was living at, they always had a separate recycling bin. So I had been recycling, but later I found out that it may not get actually recycled.
Exactly. Yeah. I was doing a little bit of research on that, and I figured out that the major hurdle in that was sorting the waste. So although we do our best, but some of the containers that we use is still soiled with a lot of organic waste, basically in which we consume our food and things like that. A lot of people do not know if they have to segregate that into pure recyclable plastic or should it go into the other kind of waste, which is basically the garbage. And so the sorting becomes difficult, and then it gets into the conveyor belt after the trash is basically collected. And then I think the sorting problem, if it is, especially if it is manual, people after some extent, there are magnets which will pick up all these ferrous materials, and then you are basically left with different grades of plastics, and people have to manually pick up some of the stuff, and the conveyor belt moves at a particular speed and they are not able to pick it up. So I don't know if you know about any robotic methods of sorting out this sort of a waste, or making this recyclable process much efficient.
I think there's a lot of research going on. I personally don't know. But the little that I've been exposed to, there is a lot of advancement that has happened in sorting plastics, and I think there are people who are thinking of these landfills as gold mines of the future.
Yeah.
You can get a lot of rare earth metals in these landfills.
Interesting.
So I think technology will catch up and make use of these materials.
Do you
I
see
hope so.
any futuristic like startups or techs or new commercial activities that can pop up from this waste management aspect?
Well, it's already happening. Batteries, recycling. I think they are already, or at least there are trying to recycle these various batteries that we have, which use a lot of rare earth metals. But I don't know how to predict what next might be happening.
Yeah, I understand. Coming to the toxicity of plastics, right? We are surrounded by plastics, and especially we consume a lot from plastic containers. People drink bottles, drink water directly from the bottles, and a lot of people even accuse and complain that there are forever chemicals like PFAS, and then you have BPA, and these sort of chemicals which probably can leach into the water that we actually drink. Can you break down for common people to understand what these forever chemicals are and in what way it can disrupt our biology?
First of all, I think there is a segregation. The water bottles that we drink, they don't necessarily are lined with PFAS. That's not where PFAS is coming from. Sorry, this forever chemicals is PFAS. It's mostly coming from these non-stick cookware or rain jackets where we had this coating of water repellent, or even the fire extinguisher that we were using that also had a lot of these fluorine chemicals. This was a wartime invention, these fluorinated coatings for tank. They had developed a coating that was water repellent, but after the war they realized, okay, you can make non-stick cookware and various coatings based on this. I think in the 1970s, 80s, the industrial companies, they started finding out the harmful effects of it. But I think there's a very nice documentation how one person who didn't even have a chemistry background, he was a lawyer, he educated himself about this new chemical which was not deemed toxic by the FDA, and he basically went after this big chemical giant DuPont and became their worst nightmare. So everything that we know about PFAS is because of this one person's work. Dark Waters, there's a book and also a movie about it. So the PFAS is coming from there, and rightfully so. Now I think there is a lot of awareness about it, and I would say people are trying to ban it and look for alternatives. A lot of chemical companies are actually actively looking for alternatives to avoid. A lot of companies have actually gone out of business from this, or actually closed down their fluorinated chemicals work as well.
Okay.
So I think there is the awareness is good. What happened is very unfortunate. How this could have been worked upon much earlier. This could have been communicated much earlier, but I think common people wouldn't know. You trust organizations, the experts in FDA to regulate these things. On your own, you wouldn't know how to do that, and that's why it's important that what is happening right now with all the job cuts in these federal organizations. I think we are going to pay for it in the future.
I see. So there are so many jargon thrown around, typically in the toxicity space of plastics, right? People talk about parabens, they talk about phthalates, they talk about sulfates. As I described earlier, they also talk about like microplastics and things like that. So if a person like me who is not basically a mechanical engineer, I do not know much about chemistry or plastics in general. So if I have to create a framework in my mind, and be careful about me and my kids. So can you like give us a high level picture of like how do I look at all these things and basically organize it in my mind?
That's what I was mentioning, that common people won't know. At least I also don't know, being in the field. We use a new product. I don't know what all goes inside it, why it functions so well. Later we find out that there was a issue with it. I think toxicity field by its own has its own checks and balances. Any new chemical that is made, they do various environmental exposure test where chemical is introduced and they observe whether the fish lives or dies. Those kinds of I think things happen and they are monitored. These are long-term tests that happen. That's why I think you will see that I think globally in the industry, new chemical research has really dipped. They're not making new materials anymore.
Okay.
Very rarely. I think it's about using the existing materials or using various additives or combining different materials to get new properties. I think which we are doing similar to what nature has done. Nature doesn't have very different kinds of chemistries. It has proteins and polysaccharides. And using these two, how you functionalize these backbones, it has various different functionalities that it can get. So I think we are getting to that that area.
Okay, given the understanding of research that is already done, and whatever FDA or probably any of these bodies have already declared, the toxicity ingredients are basically in the common compounds that we use. How do you, say me or my kids, basically people like me, commoners, should stay safe? Like to what are the general practices or care that I should take about in my daily life? To the extent possible, I know we cannot totally avoid plastics, but to the extent possible, how do I stay safe?
See, again, plastics, as I mentioned, it's not all. You keep saying you're surrounded by plastics. I don't know what you mean. It's not like. What do you mean you're surrounded all by plastics?
So, for example, if I want to drink water, the cup is plastic. I drink it from a straw, which is plastic, right? I wear dress.
Why
which is
do you use a straw to drink water?
I mean, I've never put a thought into it, but that is a natural thing, right? Like there are few things that we do not think about. Like even to know that I shouldn't use a straw, I should be alarmed enough about that. Straw can be dangerous.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was just one example. But there are like a lot of food that we consume, right? Like we do, and every day there's utensils basically are subjected to dishwashing, microwave, heat reheating and things like that. So even if I like it or I don't like it, I'm not trying to make plastics as a negative word, but I'm just trying to understand, or solve the problem of anxiety that people typically have. And to the practical extent possible, if I want to stay away and stay closer to the alternatives that I have to, prevent myself from the toxicity, what should I do?
Yeah, so I think the principles of circularity are very simple. It's reduce, reuse, recycle.
Okay.
So things that you can reduce, for example, this single-use plastics, to the extent possible, reduce it.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're at a somewhere outside at an event, yeah, you don't want to reuse. So there you have to use single-use plastics.
Okay.
So reduce as much as possible, reuse as much as possible. So going to alternatives, like glass or glass which is naturally occurring, uh, and basically natural alternatives. Even clothing, it's best to have wear natural fibers, as if they are more comfortable. Also, you will feel comfortable. And lastly, as much as possible, recycle.
Okay. So, Gaurav, if I have to explore the non-professional side of you, what are the other things that you're interested in?
So outside of work, I, I'm interested in sports. I watch sports, play sports as well. But majority of my time goes into volunteering. I volunteering for various causes, education, and most importantly, I volunteer for to offer yoga programs in the community. I learned yoga from Isha Foundation, and it has been the most profound thing I've experienced.
Wow.
So it's been almost 15 years now that I've been volunteering with them in various capacities, and it has been a really a tool for growth for me that I've really enjoyed.
Interesting. So, how did you discover this?
I was in Mumbai and I had malaria.
Wow.
And within a few days, actually, I took the medicine. I was up. People around me were very surprised that I was back in office. Within 2-3 days. So, but I knew internally that I was really weak. There was a program, Isha inner engineering program, being offered right outside my home, very very close by. So I saw yoga, Isha yoga, and I thought, okay, I need to do something. I went into and sat in the introduction class, and something clicked that okay, I want to try this. And I actually told them that I had malaria, that I won't be able to do much physical, but they said that's all right. And honestly, this inner engineering has been a complete process by itself. How we engineer the world around us. Right now we are sitting in a very comfortable room with temperatures that our bodies like. Same way we can also set our internal environment. And I never thought about it that way, or even never even experienced it. But these simple tools that I got to these practices which are very powerful, got to experience. And there I once you experience it, you really want to share it.
Yeah.
So I think volunteering is a big part of my of who I am.
Interesting. So, did you meet Sadhguru and how did you feel about it, if you have met him?
Well, I have been in events where Sadhguru has been, but well, his presence is something else. There are no words to describe. It he says that his energy act like a catalyst, that things can happen faster.
Interesting.
And it's a privilege to be in his presence.
Interesting. So, apart from yoga practices, are there any other voluntary activities that are going right now or you have been involved in the past?
I usually work with the schools in the area. So, for example, there is an organization called Science Atlanta, where I basically partner with the teachers and try to support their curriculum through at least 2 or 3 activities in a year. So this past February, we did a safe soil workshop with the kids, where we had sand and we had soil, and we asked them to put in seeds in these two media. I don't know if you know that right now more than 52% of the soil around the world has went from soil to sand. There's a severe degradation crisis that is happening right now, and it's very alarming. I didn't know about this, but I think the biggest disaster is happening under our feet.
Yeah.
If all of the soil becomes sand, where will the food come from?
Yeah.
You can't grow food. So I think this is the awareness that there is a global movement that was actually initiated by Sadhguru. So there are various ways to raise awareness. Classroom activities is one of them, which I got a chance to do this February, and it was very informative. I also didn't know if the seeds will actually grow into in sand, but the result was so clear.
Interesting.
The soil was really there was the plant came out very strong, and in sand it was like wilting.
Interesting. Interesting. So I came to know that Sadhguru will be here soon to launch one of his popular books.
Yes.
Can you speak about that?
Yeah. Yes. So Sadhguru is coming to Atlanta after 2 years to launch a book called Death on Death. So it's a very provocative topic.
Yeah, little frightening. Common people.
Yeah, some people will be frightened, some people avoid it, some people, but like it or not, everybody dies. So it's a has been a taboo topic, but Sadhguru in his own unique way will explore this topic as an empowering. I think the way he says is that if you reject death, you reject life. Death is part of life, and that's what he's coming to introduce. So on June 12th, almost exactly 2 weeks from now, he'll be in Atlanta at the Coca-Cola Roxy Theater, and I'm looking forward to attending that event.
Interesting. So have you read that book? Like, what were the important takeaways that you took from it?
Well, you come to the event, he will give you the takeaways.
So Gaurav, I'm interested to know, like, the yoga tools and practices that you were talking about. How did it actually influence or improve your life and also the professional life?
Oh, in many ways. I think, as I said, this is the most profound thing. I went to, I approached these practices for physical well-being, which I got. I think I was mentioning that I had malaria, and I had it in September, and the next January I ran the half marathon in Mumbai. These the practices that I was pranayam that I was doing, especially part of the Shambhavi Mahamudra Kriya, they really increased my lung capacity. I could feel like one flight of stairs I would go up. There would not be any change in the breath, and also. But I think more than physically, this is what I was experiencing initially. But over time, I think something has shifted internally, where there seems to be now a little bit of distance between what is happening around and how I want to be. It's more than reactionary. It's now a little more action based. Of if I want to be in a certain way, I can be in a certain way. If I see if something unpleasant is happening within me, I know that I am responsible. I know I need to look at where am I missing.
Interesting.
So I think this has been the most profound shift for me. That my interiority is should be decided by me.
Okay.
And these tools are giving me that opportunity to exercise that.
If you have to give away at the end, like, just one single tool or a simple technique that people can do on day-to-day basis, just few minutes, right, which can significantly or, like, to some extent moderately improve their lifestyle, are you comfortable giving away that tip or technique?
So there are actually various free offerings that are available to learn, both in person in cities like Atlanta has these free offering sessions every month now in various parts of Atlanta, where very simple but powerful practices like 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day that you can do and you can actually experience the benefits.
Interesting.
So these are also available online, sorry, in person, but online also. If you download the Sadhguru app, it has various tools.
Interesting.
Uh, it has various meditations that you can go through, simple practices that you can learn. There are Upayoga practices. So I think it would be best you learn from the source, and not from somebody.
Now, you have done it for 15 years. You're just being humble. Yeah.
No, I think the doing is different.
Yeah.
Teaching requires a different.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So, with this positive note, I think we are at the end of this wonderful episode and conversation. Thanks for attending this session with us.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.